Hello, everyone. Thanks for stopping in. This is my personal top 10 magic artists of all time list. This is my own list, and it's not right or wrong, it just is. And now, number 10 on the list is Steve Prescott. This one might be an odd pick, but what I really love about his art is that he took three big time creature types in magic, maybe four, and gave them a really unique interpretation. Like, I don't think Kithkin would be as cool as they are without the weird look that they have. I don't know if he's responsible for it, but he sure does a lot of art of them. They aren't halflings, dwarves, or gnomes, they're just something else. Like, I think Rune Halo just pops, and the depiction is just scary. Like, if that little Kithkin is unleashed, it's gonna be bad news. I also like his take on elves and merfolk, and his goblins too. They're kind of like the 80s Gremlins movies, and I think Parallel Lives and Shriekmaw are some of the most iconic cards in Magic. And some of my personal favorites are Slaughter Games, and for some odd reason, I really love Zealous Conscripts, and whatever card this is, the art is freaking awesome. At number 9, Richard Thomas might be another oddball on this list, and this is for sure not everyone's cup of tea, but I always thought the doll art was really cool. I don't know why, but it was just something special there with the cards, like the Radic and Black Vice. There was just a cool touch to it. And Karma, what a weird card. And of course, he has some really cool art on iconic cards like Jokalops, Channel, and while simple but super clean, the red and blue Elemental Blast. I don't know, they just tell the spell story so loudly. And at number 8, we have Phil Foglio. And aside from the fact I really enjoy his art, it's nice to have a little comic relief. Magic was a pretty serious game for the most part, really up until recently. Magic kind of changed their company direction. There wasn't much humor, but Phil Foglio's cards, I don't know, he just had a way of just giving you a tiny little break, like, hey, you can laugh at Magic once in a while. Look at this throw, he's in some serious trouble. And the bee stings, how can you not love that? I really enjoy Foglio's art for that, and he also has some pretty epic cards we all know and love, like Orchestra Librarian and Humility. And I personally think Conkhorn, or Conch, however you say it, is a hidden gem when it comes to art. Staying on the topic of the original masters of MTG art, I have a number 7, Quentin Hoover. And I just gotta say, he is able to just have so much going on and so much noise in his art that it actually looks good and gives a charm. Like, look at Balduvian Shaman. At first glance, you know the card looks good, but if you look deeper for a second, you can just see there's so much more. Same with Spoils of Evil. That guy is psychotic, and the blood, gems, and coins, it for sure represents the name on the card. And I don't know why, but as a kid, I've always loved the card Regeneration. I mean, that dude's so badass, he looks like the most powerful wizard. You can't kill him. Hoover has some very memorable and iconic art on cards like Meekstone, Vesuvian Doppelganger, Felwar Stone, and his art on Preacher is so simple and telling at the same time. And there's a lot of debate on the card Earthbind, but me personally, I really do love the art. I think it's still tasteful but very edgy and risky. And of course, one of the most iconic, epic, and greatest Magic cards of all time, Wrath of God. To me, pound for pound, I think it's the best board wipe of all time. And the art is just absolutely spectacular. Look close at that face as the portrayal of God. It's such a fitting art for the card. Rebecca Guay is at 6, and to be honest, she could be number 1. But I'm ranking these, and there's such good art in Magic, it's a tight competition. I could really go on and on and on and on about her art. It's just so elegant at times, like almost a classical feel. I think there's also a realism to her art, which I think you need in a fantasy game sometimes. And everybody can't look like Conan the Barbarian, and every woman can't look like, Liv Tyler from Lord of the Rings. Oromancer is one of my favorite pieces of art in Magic. And Planeswalker favor, maybe I'm alone on this, but I think this card art is unreal. And Haru Ana, you often hear me talk about why art is so important to me in EDH, and this is a perfect example. The art to me is just so unbelievably stunning, and the ability on the card isn't that great, but I'd love to play this card as a commander. Heck, I just might build a deck with her. And talk about famous cards, Rebecca has a ton, like Elvish Piper, Kesa, Spellstutter Sprite, Bitter Blossom, Scrib Ranger, Carpet of Flowers, and one of the best cards ever printed, Priest of Titania. Rebecca Guay, you are amazing. Okay, now it's down to the top 5, and Chris Ron is an all-star. He did one of my favorite cards of all time, and the name of my dog, her name is Marwin, Marwin the Nurture. The cool thing I like about Chris Ron is he's pretty diverse with his cards, and while he definitely has a style, it's not in a way that is super obvious. What's wild, if I'm not mistaken, he has art for all of the swords in Magic: Fire and Ice, Light and Shadow, Sinew and Steel, Truth and Justice, War and Peace, Hearth and Home, and Body and Mind. That's pretty freaking awesome. And his list of notable cards, man, oh man, there's a lot. Tiamat, Qasali Pride Mage, Janura, Asura of War, Sigarda, Host of Herons, Sigarda, Heron's Grace, Hunt Master of the Fells, one of my all-time favorites, Sheoldred, the Apocalypse, Alendra, Saint of Dusk and the Dusk Rose, Tassiger, Kogla, and another one of my absolute favorite cards, Glissa the Traitor. That art is so cool, and his version of Eternal Witness, this art really holds up to the original, and it's actually a close call which one's better. Dina, Imodane, Groundswell, and last, but certainly not least, arguably my least favorite card in Magic, not for the art of course, Cyclonic Rift. I'll give you a pass though. Here's 4, Therese Nielsen. I had her lower on this list, but as I soaked in her art more and more, it's just so good. Her use of unusual lights and melding different images is just bizarre but beautiful, and in my opinion, I think her depiction of women is truly unparalleled, because she captures strength and charm in a way that I have not seen in Magic. It's a great blend of being modest and edgy, but not too revealing, and I personally think she has done the best version of Liliana. And Therese Nielsen, she has so many truly groundbreaking and iconic cards, like of course, Force of Will. I mean, come on, Force of Will. Life from the Loam, Rest in Peace, and everyone's favorite draw engine in EDH, Heuristic Study. For some Magic Hall of Fame, she should be in it for sure. Okay, so 3 is going to be a head scratcher, and maybe I get some boos from the crowd on this pick, but the 3rd best artist on my list is Anson Maddox. But hear me out. There's a reason. I remember when I first started playing, again, this was 1994, I was a kid. Magic was brand new. Fantasy art was pretty straightforward and tame, but not Anson Maddox. Look at Llanowar Elf, one of the most iconic and absolutely cherished cards in Magic. That's a weird card. Nothing like any other elf art I've ever seen, but you know what? That was one of the cards that got me hooked. It's so bizarre and uncomfortable, but cool. I'd say uncomfortable and cool is the best way to describe his art. Drop of Honey is one of the best cards ever made, and it's such a unique card, and I've always wanted to own a copy. Look at Sengir Vampire. Like, dude, what was going on through his mind when he was painting this? Another example is Living Wall. This still creeps me out 30 years later. That's what I don't see in today's art. Everything is sanitized, safe. There's no soul. And Anson has done some other popular and beloved cards like Serendib Efreet, the Urza's Mind series, yes, Maze of Ith, Ashnod's Altar, Animate Dead, and No Rod. The reason he's number 3 is because I haven't seen any people do he has in his art, and it's just, his art is just stuff that will stick with me forever. So number 2 is another Foglio on the list, Phil Foglio's wife, Kaja Foglio. And she easily could have been my number 1. It's really close. The reason I love her art, besides the fact that it's really, really good, is because it just has a positive, feel-good style, to me at least. I'm not sure how to explain it, but I don't know. It just makes me feel happy, I guess. Every card feels like it belongs to a story, and it's vivid and colorful. Even the black cards, like Coffin Queen, I just love that art. It's so cool. She's a zombie. Combage Witches, which, man, that's from the original set, and it's so cool. Original 4 Horsemen, that is. And Sorceress Queen, man, that art is just cool. They're kind of scary cards, but in a fairy tale way, I suppose. No disrespect to artists on the left for Eureka, but you know, his art's definitely great. Just when you compare it to 2 cards side by side with Kaja's, I mean, like, her version's unmistakable. It's so vibrant, and you really get a feel for the card. And a card like Rabid Wombat, I mean, it's just funny but wild at the same time. And I think it's important in Magic. You don't take yourself too seriously all the time, but you don't want to be corny or gimmicky or lame like that. And I think her art really captures that. And I just think Kaja's art pops with just color and really makes for a diverse art style when compared to a lot of Magic cards, especially the new ones. And Kaja has some absolute memorable bangers like Millstone, which is such a simple art design, but the art really makes you feel the card. You know, like the Millstone drives you mad, milling your cards, making you go nuts. His little stars and outer space background gives you that, like, unwell vibe in the head, you know? And of course, we can't forget the Four Seasons of Mishra's Factory, which are awesome, beloved cards, and Mishra's Workshop. And one of my fondest memories of Magic in the early days, and just an awesome card, and awesome art. Scheherazade, I think that's how you say it. Um, Such a cool card. I mean, like nothing like it. And it's just when I see that art, it just takes you back, and you know, it's not just nostalgia, but it's just a truly memorable card with memorable art. And Magic cards are just different in early days. I don't know. That's just my take. And now, the grand finale, the final spot. The number one artist on my list is Seth MacKinnon. I could probably make a long video on his art alone. That's how much I love it. I just think his style is unmatched in Magic. For one, it's so freaking good, just the art by itself. But his art gives me that uneasy, uncomfortable feeling, but at the same time, you just can't take your eyes away because there's so much going on in his pictures. It's so good. It's so rich to look at. Like Feast of Succession. I mean, this guy on the left is dead. His bodyguard's just poisoned on the floor, and there's a feast with poisoned food, and the unknown hand taking the crown on the top left. I mean, and Grim Return. The woman gets killed. Remove the sword stuck in her, and it's just bleeding out and ready for battle. The same sword that killed her, and Bedevil. Little creepy goblins with masks attacking this poor person. His vision of damnation is so creepy. It's like, oh wow, and Sour of Temptation, like it's so good, so good. Allure of the Unknown. This little kid's opening a box, it's so spooky, and just like what's going on behind him. And Stasis. I mean, this art speaks for itself. It's just so good. And I don't know what it is, but his art is just super, super unique. And I can honestly just look at all his cards over and over, and his take on the spirit and ghost type beings is just really phenomenal. And his Mythos series from Ikoria is super cool with that art style. He kind of switched it up. Then you have Animatu, or Amanatu, however the heck you say it. My words are twisted, and Blind Obedience, Deliver into Evil, and of course, maybe my favorite card in all of Magic. Not the card, but the art, that is, Farewell. It's just perfection for Magic art to me. And I mean, it goes with the card name, Farewell. The little girl blowing the dandelion in a spiral. When you look close at the little dandelion pieces, they're tiny people getting blown off the flower, which totally tells the story of Farewell, the card. Everything just gets exiled. Everything goes away. And I look forward to more from Seb in the future. He's just so good, and I don't know, he's my number one. I love his art, and I have a hard time picking out what's my favorite because it's all so, so good. So, there it is. That's my list. You can love it or hate it, and that's okay, because in the end, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, as they say. So, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I an expert on art, or am I just an idiot and my picks suck? Either way, let me know. But, hey, thanks for watching, and that's all, folks.